Hi all, welcome to the first episode of the Unseen Realities, a pocket series organized by the International Studies Students Association in collaboration with the Film and Television Studies Unit of University of Kelaniya. This discussion series is mainly based on the current issues of Sri Lanka, as we believe that there is a necessity of us developing a different form of a dialogue that is based on reasons, understanding, and listening on a broader context. Our topic of discussion today is the Sethusamudram Shipping Canal Project. This is a topic that needs to be discussed even though it's not in discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have here today with us Mr. Hashan Wijesinghe, a lecturer of the International Studies Department of University of Kelaniya, whose expertise areas consist of current affairs, sustainable development, and also geopolitics. How are you doing today, sir?
Absolutely fine. I'm thrilled to be part of this event.
We are thrilled to have you too. So, to start off with the topic, but before we go in depth, just a small outline about the geopolitical perspective of India, because it's your area of expertise. How significant is it?
So it comes with, first of all, thank you very much, because yes, as Suhanya told, this is something, a topic area which need to be discussed. But if you look at the news like Sethusamudram, it's a very contentious and significant topic, but which has gone under the radar. So anyway, before moving on to the topic, the Sethusamudram, I would shed some light on the Indian Ocean and the Indian Ocean region, because before that, when it comes to the ocean in general, it covers 70% of the surface, right? So irrespective, even though the technology has developed, 70% of, rather 80% of the international trade is seaborne trade, right? So sea or the ocean are part of globalization process, right? When it comes to the Indian Ocean, it is the third largest ocean in the world. It stretches from the west coast of Australia, Malacca Strait from the east, to the Mozambique Channel in the west, right? So which means if you look at the significance, right, it is rather, when it comes to the seaborne trade, right, there are so many significant lines of communication, right? Every day, thousands of ships go through these lines of communication, sea lines of communication in the region, right? So, and it is you find so many choke points, right, such as the Strait of Hormuz, the Malacca Strait. So all these things are very significant and make the Indian Ocean highly significant. Not to forget, right? Not just the Indian Ocean and the Indian Ocean region. If you look at the Indian Ocean region, it is the home for almost 3 billion people and emerging economies, not limited to, but countries like India, Bangladesh, Thailand, and not to forget Singapore, and then you have the Iran, right? And it is also, if you look at the seaborne trade as numbers, more than 80% of the seaborne oil trade is done through these shipping lines or these sea lanes of communication. So Indian Ocean, for some scholars, it is the birthplace of maritime civilization, right? So yes, of course, the Indian Ocean is important, and being the largest country in the Indian Ocean, right, itself like the Indian Ocean, and you have India is considered it as sometimes it's their ocean, right? They have gone to that extent. Anyway, when it comes to India, they are like highly concerned about the developments in the Indian Ocean. So in general, yes, the Indian Ocean is highly significant in general, and plus for India it is so vital.
So, sir, now we would like to go on to the topic. So my next question is a direct question. What exactly is the Sethusamudram Shipping Canal Project?
Yes, so Sethusamudram project, it's as you told, like the shipping canal project, which connects the Bay of Mannar and the Port Strait. So it comes with a lot of history, because yes, we only talk about it today, but it has a long history which started like the first idea came in the 19th century, but it was never got going. But in 2005, then government of India started this whole project, because what they thought was, because if you look at the trade routes, right, even if you want to transport something from the west coast of India to the east coast, you have to go past Sri Lanka, right? The traditional trade route. So what they thought was initially, okay, why not we go through the two countries, right? Through the Port Strait. So they started in 2005, but there was huge resistance or opposition came from the groups who are like, especially the opposition, right? So the two arguments which they told was, first is the Ram Setu, right? The bridge which is supposed to be mentioned in the Ramayana trail, right? So the Hindus considered it as sacred place, so they don't want it to be like damaged, because Sethusamudram, if it is to be constructed, there will be a great impact on the bridge, right? Second thing is the environment factor, right? What is the cost of in terms of the environment, what is the cost? So due to both these reasons, and the most importantly, the thing is that now the several groups are from the Indians also, now they weigh the pros and cons, the cost and the benefit. Some say yes, it's a huge investment, but the Indians really don't get the benefit out of it. So it is at the moment, the present government in last year, I think in 2001, the Modi government appointed a committee to look into the matter, and most recently in Tamil Nadu, that state assembly, they passed a resolution unanimously to go ahead with the project. So it is a very interesting thing that will come along, but at the moment it is still under discussion.
So one of the main criticisms that many Sri Lankan scholars tend to say is, in respect of this Sethusamudram Shipping Canal Project, is that when it bypasses the Colombo Fort, the Hambantota Fort, and also the Trincomalee Port, these are our economic benefits, right? So if all the ships bypass this, we are not getting the economic benefits that we are supposed to get. But in my point of view, we believe we are still a country who's still recovering from the 30 Years' War, right? I feel like there can be repercussions apart from this. Is it the same, or are there going to be anything else as well?
Yes, in fact it's a very good question, because if you go by the reports or how the TV channels or the newspapers have reported the event, what they say is, when the ships, right, rather than passing the Sri Lanka or passing go through the traditional trade routes, when they can go past Sri Lanka, it will definitely it will be a huge blow to the Colombo port, the Hambantota port, as well as sometimes the Trincomalee port. So this is what people say. Yes, true, right? Because if you look at Sri Lanka's economy, it is hugely rely on these trade activities, right? Now what we have not focused, or rather, because as a country we faced almost 30 years of civil control, right? So lot of people, but they have not focused the impact of this project. Not yes, on the economy there's a huge profound impact, but on the people who are living in the northern and eastern province, that has not been discussed, right? At least now, till now, right? The thing is, I will give just one example how it affects the people in northern and eastern province, right? So for sure, if this Sethusamudram projects go ahead, right, as scheduled or as planned, right, so what happens is, it will definitely affect the people, the livelihood of the people, especially the fishermen, right? If you look at the people who are engaged in the fishing sector, right, around 22,000 families in Jaffna alone, right? Jaffna alone, their mainly livelihood is they are simply fishermen, right? What impact would it make? Right? For sure, it will affect the economy, right? It will affect the economy in the sense, right? It will affect their livelihood, right? They will lose their jobs, right? Then it becomes the problem. What will happen to them? It is just one example or one area where people should think, right? If the Sethusamudram go ahead, what will happen to those people in the northern and eastern province? Just Jaffna. Imagine the other regions in the northern and eastern provinces. How will they affect? So it will lead to, I don't know what it will lead to. Nobody knows, right? Because when people are economically unsecure or insecure, they tend to go for other options, right? Because we had the civil conflict, we know what it's like. We don't want something like that as something like that as well. Not to forget, any issue in Sri Lanka, especially in the northern and eastern province, right? For sure, it will have an impact on India.
It is an issue of India.
It definitely it will be an issue of India as well. So India, from India's perspective, it has to be really, really careful of the project.
So, since we are on the topic and since you were mentioning about the non-traditional threats, one of the biggest things that we tend to hear is about Sri Lanka being a drug hub. So, on that topic, if the Sethusamudram Shipping Canal Project proceeds, will this affect gravely? Because it's something that we tend to hear in a very drastic manner nowadays.
Yeah, it's a very controversial topic area, Suhanya, because there can be positive side as well. Not to forget, if Sethusamudram go ahead means, right, there is huge security of the region, right? It will, yes, of course, there are like controversies, we get the drugs from India and stuff, but the positive side of this whole Sethusamudram thing is, if that goes on, there can be better security, which will be benefiting the country. As Sri Lanka, it will benefit us as well, right? It is just one of the few benefits that Sri Lanka will get from the Sethusamudram project if it goes on.
Yes, it's very important to see the positive side of adversity all the time. So now we're going to look in a different way. It's the Asian century, according to many academics. And we've only been discussing about the Sri Lankan perspective. Now, let's go to the Indian perspective. How will it affect India? Obviously, it's beneficial, but are there any other controversial factors that we do not see?
Yeah, once again, it's on one hand, because yes, a lot of people think, like if you scratch the surface, they say like for India it is like greatly beneficial, right? It brings so much benefit, it cuts the cost, the time, it's very good. For India's perspective, that the ports in Tamil Nadu will be benefiting. But the point is, from India, within the country, within the political context of India, there are controversies, right? Not to forget, in 2005, as I told you before, when it was first implemented, try to implement the project, the opposition, the main resistance or the main opposition came from the BJP. Now BJP is in power, right? Now you understand, yes, Modi has appointed the committee, right? And Tamil Nadu, the assembly, they have unanimously approved the resolution, right? It is very interesting to see what BJP is going to do with this, because they were the same people who opposed the project, right? So yes, it is supposed to bring benefits to India, but will it affect the stability, the political stability of India? It's something that we need to discuss in detail. Even I haven't noticed from India's perspective they are talking about that much, but it will for sure have a profound impact on the political stability of India itself.
Yes, politics is something that we cannot decide, and it's like a spur of the moment game. But on that note, this Sethusamudram Shipping Canal Project will be a part of Sagarmala, right? And on the other hand, we see China also along with the BRI projects. Will this conflict or will this actually have a grave effect in our continent?
Yes, so if you look at the present context, if you look at the significance of India or the significance of the Indian Ocean rather, why we are talking so much about the significance of the Indian Ocean? As I believe, on one hand, it is the growing Sino-Indian rivalry.
Yes.
Right? If not for the Sino-Indian rivalry, the situation would have been different. We would have never talked about the Indian Ocean region, right? Or Indian Ocean. But now the context is different. Now, this Indian Ocean region has become a theater of battle for supremacy, right? It's not, if you look at China, yes, it is not located in the Indian Ocean, but more than India, sometimes China depends on the Indian Ocean because their whole economy, for a great extent, depend on what the Indian Ocean has to offer. If you look at the BRI project, right, how many projects are being carried out in the Indian Ocean region, within the Indian Ocean, right? So, if you look at India's perspective from the Sagarmala project, right? Sagarmala project is where it's a simply put the port development project, right? Where you across the India they try to develop ports. Why this project comes in? Not to forget, it comes during Narendra Modi's period, which means that it comes as a counter for the BRI, right? For sure, like in the future, if on one hand, if for sure the BRI is moving ahead and the Sagarmala project moves ahead, and both these projects are dealing with the Indian Ocean, for sure, like it will have a great impact on the region itself, right? So, yeah, let's see. We have to wait and see how the project goes on, right?
So now we've come to the latter part of our program, and it's my last question to you, sir. We at the moment, as a country, are vulnerable to many other countries, and I think India is one of the main countries. On a Sri Lankan perspective, how will this affect our country's sovereignty? It's your personal overview,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, so in a globalized world, the first question is anyone sovereign, right? So, and as a small state, the situation is really grave, right? So if you look at the whole concept of sovereignty, it's about the authority over our affairs, right? As Sri Lanka, to what extent we have authority over our territory, right? If you look at the India and Sri Lanka relations over the years, right, our sovereignty has been some kind of a controversy, right, throughout the whole years from the history, right? So if you look at the present context with the Sethusamudram projects, if you look at the Sethusamudram projects, of course, as we already discussed, it is supposed to, for sure, it will have a profound impact on the country, right? When it comes to sovereignty, now look at the timing of the in Tamil Nadu, how it brought, right? In a situation where Sri Lanka is economically vulnerable, right? They realized this is the high time to pitch the idea, right? They pitched it, right? Now the central government is, as we discussed, like yet to come to a decision, right? But for sure, like the sovereignty of the state, it's already been affected with what's going on, the things what's happening right now, right? What is the voice we have with regard to Sethusamudram? That is what we need to understand, right? And added to that, sovereignty, the traditional concept of sovereignty is about the authority, as we discussed. But what's about the popular sovereignty? The opinion of the people. Is it only the leaders who are making decisions? No, it's the people as well, right? If people are making decisions, people should be aware of these developments. But the thing is, that's why I already mentioned, topics like this should need great attention, because sovereignty is not all about the state sovereignty. It's about us. It's about popular sovereignty as well. So I hope, lot of people will continue to discuss about this topic and make the people aware of what Sethusamudram is, because otherwise it will just be one another area where people are not aware, just passes by, they which will go under the carpet, like so many issues in Sri Lanka as well.
Yes, on that note, it is very important to note that this topic is not going to be another topic that goes under the rug. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our first episode of The Unseen Reality, a pocket series organized by the International Studies Students Association in collaboration with the Film and Television Studies Unit of University of Kelaniya. My name is Suhanya Devanjee, and thank you, sir, for joining with us. And it was a really good time that we had, and you shared your knowledge, and we hope to have you once again. And with that on note, hoping that to see you once again with a brand new topic and a more intriguing topic. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.